Okay, we're recording another Mystic Brew, which I do believe we're going to call Trump's Last Stand.
Yeah, it's already there. It might sound a bit strange, but there's a lot of feelings going out there at the moment and realizations, even from Trump haters, that if he wasn't in place, would be screwed. We probably already had the sheep going, thanks so much for the vaccination. Thank you, thank you. Oh, you're gods, Mr. and Mrs. Gates. Oh, there's a lot of people waking up to this. And there's a realization it actually was, can be looked at in the future as Trump's last stand. His puppeteers, the ones controlling him or behind him or backing him, however you wish to look at it, if it wasn't put into place, we were screwed. And there's a realization of this. Even the 80 above top secret White House read, there's a realization coming in there that, oh my God, this has been the biggest thing the world has ever seen. And it will be looked back on in the future, that what a history that was. And there's even a few that are in the old way. They're still doing a great job, still waking people up. They're amazing. And they're anti-Trump and anti-Q that are starting to be a bit quieter because they realize that if it's the way they think it is, we're screwed. So some of them are going quieter, going, oh, well, why isn't this happening and that happening? And it's only because it was Trump's last stand. It's quite incredible. Today there was a sweeping energy for me. I forgot to say to you that I started drinking coffee again days ago as well.
Oh,
I went right off the coffee. I'd have the odd one, but I'm a heavy coffee drinker, and I went off it for a couple of weeks, the odd one, and all of a sudden 2 days ago I started drinking coffee again, 2 or 3 in the morning anyway.
yeah.
And
Well, it's
today,
1 o'clock in the morning, and here I am having my coffee, which is partially making this show possible.
it's been a beautiful day. What I've noticed today has been a strangeness to it, where there's an energy you experience when you're high, but it's swaying in and out of me. So I'm going to a place where, oh wow, I'm feeling high.
That happened to me when I walked to the store today, and so I kind of come back this basically the same way. So there's a freshly a new blooming lilac plant that's along my walk. And so a couple of days ago, there was just a few blooms I could get like a little sniff, but now they're really, so I was able to pull down one and just inhale it. So that was on the way. When I came back, I did it again. And so I smelled one, and then when the smell wore off, I went to another one, and it had like a different scent to it. I said, wow, that's a little bit different. I really like that. Maybe it's the way the wind's blowing. I turned my head to start walking, and I felt like, I said, what drug just hit me? That I didn't. It wasn't like I was reeling, but it was like I was clear. It was like this is like what happens when you like like if you took a shot or a buzz or whatever, when that first flush kind of comes on. It's like oh, we're going there, and that's how I felt. And this was after just smelling these lilacs, but it was on the return. Didn't happen the first time. Like I said, there was this one lilac that had a particularly kind of like just spicier kind of quality to it that was very pleasant. And like I said, when I turned away, it was like, whoa, I was like just like in a cloudy kind of feeling.
It's nice little surprises. I can equate it to or parallel it with a wee bit of when you're in love, or you fall in love or lust.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it. And you just got that love adrenaline for no reason that goes in and out as your thoughts are just. And there's a wee bit of a feel of that in it. It's something that I try to think about it, that and how and what and why. But it just is, and it's just gone off and on, off and on. There's been a wee bit of a downer in between those as well, which I just sit with because that's life, ups and downs. You know. Not bad downers or anything like that, just like a bit empty at the moment. Just sit a bit empty. You know, not that I have to do anything. I don't want to go and do something to avoid it. I just sit with it as well. Maybe a new learning thing. I'm not sure, but definitely the distractions collectively, noospherically wise, are not there. Aren't there? The aren't there. So it's allowing us to be more prevalent. Maybe it's a very hard one to ascertain. I can only talk for myself, but it was beautiful to see you automatically link into that. Like, oh wow, yeah, experience the same thing.
I mean, I've never really experienced that before. I mean, I'm a flower sniffer. I get down on my knees to sniff flowers along when I take walks because there's been periods in my life before without a car, and I would walk a mile or two to get where I had to and come back. And so I knew all these paths. And during the good weather, I knew every single good flower. If there were a bunch of roses, I knew the ones that had a scent and the ones that, some roses just like kind of like look pretty, but they don't have a scent. So I knew which roses to bother with and which ones not to. I was like that at Omega too. There were certain roses that had incredible scents and other ones that didn't. And along my walk, I knew all the roses that were worth going to and I would visit every day.
We're very lucky here in Christchurch. We have a botanical garden. I think it's the second biggest one per world. My audio coming in all right or not?
Yeah, you cut out for half a sentence there.
We're very lucky in Christchurch. We've got gardens here that I think it's the second biggest in the world per capita.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite huge in the middle of the city, but like Central Park in a way. And you can just go there and get lost for hours if you know, in the tents and smells. And yeah, it's very lucky we're into and that it's absolutely beautiful.
I remember one time I bartended at a cousin-in-law's wedding, and so they had the bride really wanted purple roses, so they had, I mean, hundreds, if not thousands, of purple roses all over the place in vases, twisted into wreaths. I mean, it was gorgeous. Not one of those roses had a scent. Not one.
The corporate.
Yeah.
I had something on that. I can't find it.
I always have some rose water. Well, I use it in certain things with my cosmetics, but I always keep a bottle handy. And even when I want to, like if my desk in front of me gets a little dirty, I spray it with rose water and wipe it down with rose water, or I'll spray it in the air. Just get that. It's beautiful stuff. And if I get itchy eyes or something, or just spray some rose water on your eyes, get a nice clean tissue, wipe it. Takes care.
You're preparing for spring, winter. Spring, summer, and I'm preparing for autumn, winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something I wanted to throw out there as well. I was setting up. I was with my young one, and we set up for the children their Easter hunt. And I usually set it up. I write riddles where the Easter eggs are hidden on the property, and well, a lot of that helps a good learning tool in a way as well. There was something else that came in as I was writing the riddles out. It was like we're hitting that place now. The riddles were written in the past, but what's happening now is the way shows. And when we were talking in our last video, and it was all about the cat energy out of the bag. Well, there was a lot come out of the bag in the last week, and the 9 lives energy. I just couldn't get a good fix on it. But I started to get a bit of a fix on it today when I was setting up the Easter hunt. I was writing out the riddles. It was funny. I was doing the hanging baskets, the hanging flowers, whatever, of Babylon. into the eighth wonder of the world or something like that. There was some hanging flowers where I hid some eggs. And I was going through it all, and I was starting to get that I'd forgotten. You know, we did this cat energy video in the last video, and I had forgotten the biggest cat energy of the week, really, or just 2 weeks. It was on the ATS White House Q thread. A Cheshire cat member came on, and is my audio going?
No.
Oh, and put himself there as a member, gave himself lots of likes and pics and everything else. Writes Austin is a fraud. If you heard of Baby,
Oh yeah.
he's been arrested now and all this.
Yeah, I know. I've followed that story. Somebody hit me onto it, so I kind of keep a little bit in touch with that.
Finished now, but that was a lot of people just couldn't let it go. They were, and that's okay. And it said that, and it was like, wait a minute, everybody got really worried. For one, nobody on the board or the owners or anybody else, it was an inside job. And for somebody to come into ATS and do that was impossible. I'm sure the owners and the mods and that would have. So whatever they had was high do this. Apparently he came back again as well. But he was, and it may have been looked at as a direct line from Q or similar, or the team, Q team. So somehow I forgot about that in the cat energy video last week. And it was a Cheshire cat. So you know the at the moment, just recently, Trump's been wearing the Cheshire cat tie, the pink tie.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that. I noticed the pink start.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's an interesting color.
Well, a lot of people identify it with the Cheshire cat and Alice in Wonderland. Yeah. So, but he's been wearing it a lot. Yeah, and there's a lot of meaning. But the second time they came in, they left a different picture or avatar or something. Anyway, it's initially nobody wants to talk about it. We're not talking about it, and there was posts getting deleted and everything else. After the second time, it seems it's been left to go away. And I'm sure that the members today on the ATS White House Q thread saying, you know, the whole of ATS has become Q orientated and it's different threads and everything else. And they only allow one thread at ATS on Q. You see what happened at the One Truth Forum, happened at Avalon Forum. It handle it. So it got put into membership only, or in the hope minded. And it's like, oh well, you know. Anyway, and it's true. It's taken over, and that's another part of that Trump's last stand. It's all coming to the same dot at the. You know what I mean? That or the eyes being dot.
Well,
all coming to it, wishing.
I have, again, because I know kind of, what's out there. I have stayed very much away from kind of any political commentary. So this is not political commentary. This is just somebody living in a country, the United States, that knows that how things go in the United. If in other words, if the United States can set an example in this crisis, there'll be a lot of people. I'm not gonna say everyone's going to follow, but there's going to be following. Just like all these European countries have been doing the hydrochloroquine and having results. And part of that was him using his bully pulpit to put it out there, because there were doctors who had already been treating it. It wasn't like he was pulling this out of his pocket. He had other people that were not part of the control system. And
2 days ago, when Melinda and the Gates family put the thing out,
the Gates of Hell family.
The Gates of Hell. They certainly opened it up on themselves at the moment. But when they put it out in New Zealand, We're first to see the light, so that 4 a.m. narrative actually started here. They've been trying to work that out. It doesn't matter 4 a.m. narrative for New Zealand, because New Zealand's first to see the light, and then it sweeps the world. The universe, if you want to call it, and its connection with Earth will allow New Zealand to be the first to touch the light and have it go round. We are important, New Zealand down here. And it starts from here. So a lot does begin in New Zealand. So the 4 a.m. narrative is being lost. A lot's happening in New Zealand. So New Zealand got their beautiful gates of hell, um, uh, 5 minutes. The Gates family says we won't be able to go outside until we're all vaccinated. We may as well do a wee chip at the same time. And it came out here, then it came out in Canada, and the usual suspects as well. But a lot of this, and including myself, on my Facebook feed and other avenues I've got, I was putting this out 2 weeks ago that going towards a vaccination. Now, in the old days, as I said earlier, they'd all be sitting there going, "Oh, thanks very much for saving our lives. Thank you, already." I don't like saying that the Trump train, maybe the believers in humanity train, or something like that. But the believers, the self-believers, the self-knowers. Yeah, so it's very exciting because you can gauge the public response where you've got people going, "Oh, get your tinfoil hat off." And then you have somebody coming across going, be calm, it's okay. Because you're going to get attacked. But now we're getting it. Now it's just like people are stopping the attacks that not full on, unless it was long ago. People are open to this. As I said, a couple of weeks ago, people started no sport, so they're actually getting into a lot of their nooks and crannies within themselves. It has to start with ourselves. And the biggest thing I see happening is people, the shamans, the mystics, the know thyselfers, letting go of their belief systems. Part of the whole. The ones that don't know yet have to let go of their belief systems to know their own minds. And the best thing we can do for them is let go of our belief systems. Because there's always new things and higher ways to move up. So when you've got your Buddhism thing, or what's the ones that don't eat any animal products at all? Vegans, the vegan believers, all these ones with great, strong, healthy or unhealthy beliefs, they're starting to let them go. I can see it with myself. Some of the stuff that I've held on to because it's my spiritual base, I'm allowing to go because it's happening naturally. And that allows noospherically, because the noosphere is run by, this is a hard one for some people, the noosphere is run by feelings. That's why it's a noosphere. That's why it's that's why it works the way it works, and we're evolving the way we're evolving. Feelings. So letting our belief systems go, especially if you've got that know thyself energy going on for yourself, and you've used all these systems to get there. Now you can let them go, because it's just a letting go aspect of your belief systems. It doesn't mean you don't allow them back in again, because if they're true and they're good for you, they'll come back in. It's okay. But the aspect or the way of letting go of those belief systems is the greater whole noospherically, above and below. So you might like, I'm a Reiki nut, a Matt Kahn nut, I'm a nut on all these different things, cryon, all that. I can let a lot of it go. I've done it before, and it comes. Some of it doesn't, or some of it I let go of it for quite a while. Some of it I don't even remember. I've already let it go, and it's a huge thing. If there's one thing we can do at the moment, from the mystical point of view, is to let our belief system float in the wind. They'll float back if need be, but it also allows room because those channels are getting stronger and bigger and wider. It always allows room for the new to come in, go through your body, to enlighten your DNA that already knows it, just needs the wee flickering flame, the allowance in, the conduit to embrace. It's crazy in its own way, because the thing that got you there, you let go of to allow others to get there also. I don't know if I'm making sense, but for me,
I think I
it's the
can
big,
follow it.
it's the big cue. It's the big question. It's the letting go. You don't know. You don't know. And once you don't know, or once you know that you don't know, you know. Then you can let it go. I can make a poem out of that, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah. It's I'm very thankful to you, Marty, because I get. Otherwise, it would just be the odd post here and there or whatever, conveying it like we are, and we've spoken about that. Yeah, facial expressions, and
To me, it's ridiculous with our current technological abilities to have the way we can converse, to be still relying so much on text with people who are kind of strangers, except for recognized usernames and an avatar we might recognize. And there, this is the time to get to know each other. Know thyself, then know thy neighbor. Have to, in the social sense of the word, but because what we have to say cannot be misunderstood. With the, I mean, to me, the conversation has to actually become important. We're in real important times, and um, the ability to communicate clearly without misunderstanding allows that exchange to happen, not only without the noise, but quicker, because we there's so much more information when we have inflection, and we can at least voice inflection. But once you have, when you have expression, you can you can really see, what kind of is this an actor, or is this somebody with some conviction? And it's just, to me, it's so easy. I mean, once again, you do one-on-one, then Zoom is more, there, and somebody like myself will have Zoom because they use it for reasons, so I have to maintain an account. But it's for me, it's like, at least the plan I have is like $10 a month or something, And
there is still there's still you can read the energy, like on the White House Q thread at ATS. You've got people the last week or two, Boom, Giggle, OO, Obsidian, one or two others that are coming in, and they're a bit like cranky old man there, where you can feel their energy stamp in the words conveying to us. Cherokee Troy and Ender Madness there, and these other amazing people on there, real Siffy. You can feel them in the words. You know what I mean? These are people that are gifting some beautiful stuff, and they're great diggers, players of their truth, that truth. And you can feel that. Now put it into a different scale. If you've got a thread, a White House Q thread, where on Skype there's a thing there. I'm an IT tech dinosaur, so yeah, you can still do a 1 or 2 minute Skype video, can't you? Or you can do, and I think I'm going to go. I did them a couple of times, and you could put your post in the thread instead of the words. You can face and everything else. We're getting to that stage now where people are, I remember when I first, about 4 years ago, I said, fuck it. And I just put face and photo on the forum thing. That's me. That's who I am. If it comes back to haunt me, I'll accept that, because it's more important that I'm able to convey and express myself and be honest, if you want to call it that. There are many people that wouldn't do that, that's fine. I didn't do it for long as well, a long time. But just, I can just imagine how amped up that would be if some of them wouldn't mind it, wouldn't worry them, to actually get their facial expressions in a post. Lovely person there, all anonymous. He, I think, not sure. If they were to get their worries and concerns, because they're sitting there going, oh, I'm a bit skeptic on that. What do you mean? And how do you mean that? If they were to go, oh, let's just do a 2-minute Skype, I can only do it for the Skype video of myself asking this question. You know, the members there would go, now I see what she means. Now I know what she's conveying. Now I can see it. Now I can even give an even better answer. Right now, because what's happening is somebody will, as threads go, somebody will post something and then it'll go, oh, I've got a puzzle piece to that. I can add to that, or I can do that. And that's what something that's lurkers coming out all the time going, oh, you might not know about that. Boom, you know. It's like when we were talking before, we started the Zoom, and we were talking about something. I went, oh, I think Trump's grandmother came from the Isle of Skye. Oh, now Beaumont's book, The True History of Britain, which is totally out there. You know, no wonder the CIA took them all the libraries in America in the 40s. A whole different history, and the Bible was based in, and some of it was based in Britain. You know, so it's complete mind screw. You know, you read it and you just, oh my God, that's incredible. You know, then a meteorite or whatever come and things out for a while, and all this stuff that's totally out there. But that island where Trump's grandmother and the Trump lineage will go through the mother often, or most of the bloodlines as such. The mother is highly important. And we're just talking, and all of a sudden the Sky event, boom, oh wow, Isle of Skye, watch the sky. Is there something happening on there? You know, so it opens you up. So if you get a post and it opens you up to thinking about this, it starts talking, you know, to try and atmospherically, emotionally get there. And it's like, boom, we're doing it. And we get something like that. You go, oh, wow, where's that going to take me? But it might take me nowhere. But 2 or 3 posters there, because I quickly jumped on and just went and just quickly put that in the thread before we started the Zoom. It's like, I may not get any more with that, but I can guarantee that they're like, oh, that's interesting. Is there anything online or deep somewhere that has to do with that lineage? Because if people think of Trump, they think of the Russian, Austrian, German lineage. They don't look at the mother in the Isle of Skye or whatever that island was. I'm pretty sure it was. That might have something to do with it. So this is the puzzle piecing that's been happening.
And that Skye is spelled S-K-Y-E, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I remember researching because I wanted to know what they've allowed us to see. And I think at the time they were talking about the Russian with the P on the PH. I can't remember. It was spelled differently anyway. It might have had something to do with the Russian royal family. He was a medical surgeon.
Are you talking about the Trump name?
Yeah.
It was originally Drumpf.
Drumpf. Okay.
You know.
I just remember when I researched it, there was a Russian connection, an Austrian connection, a German connection. It didn't grab my interest. As soon as I got to the Isle of Skye connection, and there was no real, they just said she was a lovely lady, and that was about it. And I'm like, maybe there's something else. They're talking about all these bloodlines all the time. Maybe there's something else there. I'll keep that in the back of my mind. But the stuff that I got from Beaumont's book and other little bits and pieces in my ancestry, with it, and the Welsh side, I was like, there's more to it. Something else going on. You know, they're very nefarious back in time. They tried to just change whole timelines. And they did a great job. They didn't do that good a job. There's more stuff out there. We've sort of got on a whole different line, haven't we?
Yeah. Also, you might want to finish it. You said they did a great job, and then what you said after that cut out.
There's always residue. They can take out the history of countries even, and they have. You look at Tartarian.
But
At the top,
Martin's last one talked about like what happened in Spain, and I mean all these different, you know, the Boer War, you know, with the British, and what happened there. You know, I mean, this complete change of the guard.
okay, I'll put this the nicest way I can do it. I don't think you're a flat earther, are you?
I don't, you know something, I don't commit to either one because it doesn't matter for me. You know, I'm on Gaia. I don't have perspective. I know what it seems global to me, but you
Oh,
know, but I won't get into that argument because to me, once again, the real concern is like right now, like whatever's going on in our realm, let's say that, it's affecting us all. You know something, the effect is there regardless of the shape. It isn't there because it's round, it isn't there because it's flat, it's there because it's our realm, and it's an infection in our realm that needs to be dealt with. So for me, dealing with the infection is in the realm should be the focus, and not what shape the realm is.
I'm a roundy. I'm not a flat earther.
Mm-hmm.
Martin is like the boss of flat earth British.
Oh yeah.
And I absolutely love his information. When I came across him, I think it was actually through you I came across him. And I watched all this, you know, he'd do a 5-hour video. I'd watch the whole thing and I'm like, how can something keep me absorbed for more than an hour? It blows my mind. But he would take things and he'd do 5 hours, he wouldn't even talk about flat earth. He'd be
Oh yeah.
talking about the Tartarian stuff and what's the Aquatech and what's the truth of the Boer War. I haven't watched that, but I will watch it because he'll find stuff that I can't find. And many people don't find it. They don't put the dots together. When you put the dots together, it's my fucking can't believe that. Now he blew them, you know, with the aqueducts and the Colosseums around the world.
Mm-hmm.
When he got his information and data on that, I walked around for 2 weeks going, I can't believe I'm meeting thousands of people and not one of them knows the truth of the Colosseums and the aqueducts.
Mm-hmm.
Blows my mind. And the water distilling and filtering by the Colosseums. How the sailcloths were way across these Colosseums and the aqueducts are bringing the water, and how you go to a Colosseum, there's always sand on the bottom. They weren't animal pits. They weren't there for filling up water to have navy battles in. It's a lot of bullshit. That's the Tartarian trying to be wiped out. You know, just trying to wipe it all out. It's like, it's incredible how he must have lived once upon a time. Harmony. Oh, but they don't want that known. And he was bringing that information. But he's a flat earther, so he gets attacked. And I'm like, stuff the flat earth stuff. Listen to the data.
Yeah.
You know. Oh,
like
blows
what's
me
been
away.
happening on our earth. And I mean,
Yes.
it's, again, so that's what there's a really important discussion about what's happening in our realm. And again, and both to me, roundies and flatties, when it comes to talking about the problem in the realm,
Yeah.
then that's it. The rest of this, you know, when there's not a problem in the realm, then we can have the other argument. But right now, there's no argument. We got an infection problem.
I think he's changed the name of his channel. They stole his channel from him. He was getting too much.
Yeah.
And I think last week they just gave it back to him, and he was never expected it back. And he'll get another. He's already got a huge following. Already written his first book. And once again, if you're not a flat earther and you're a roundy like myself, get into it. Look at the data. If you want stuff that blows your mind, and we've got stuff coming out all the time, the last few months especially, that like, wow, this is happening. Wow. But if you're interested in the truth of history or her story or mystery, my story, check out Martin's videos. We'll put a link below. Mind-blowing stuff. Mind-blowing stuff. I never thought I'd be actually advocating a flat earth channel on the Mystic Brew, but there you go.
Yeah,
We're being authentic.
To me, this is where we show our nobility and our dignity when we can focus on what's important that we have in common. and you know, we have a common adversary. That common adversary pursues a very common problem.
Yeah.
And I know, and it's, you know, it's again, as long, even people like Philip Druzhinin, that,
Mm.
you know, the Russian guy whose English has gotten really excellent.
Oh,
You know,
good.
he's like kind of like he holds the mud flood. He's the mud flood guy.
Yes.
And as I walked, even in my own things, I see some things that look like, oh, yeah, we did. I mean, it's always on the hills. And of course, you know, part of my theory is that there was like an inundation carrying lots of silt. And when, you know, when you see the direction of the water, and then the water, when it hits buildings, that's why there's a, you know, you see like the building that took the most of the force gathered most of the sediment. And then as the water goes around the house, you get less sediment. And that's why you get that declining thing, because obviously there was a hill there of some sort that would create the water flowing in that direction.
Well, Hugh says, if you knew the truth of history of the earth, most people would end up in hospital. That's his straight quote, if I remember correctly, or something like that. If we knew that, if the people of Earth knew the history of Earth, 90 or 80% would end up in hospital.
Well,
Now I'm sitting there going, if they, what, most people are going, well, what could that be? And I'm always with the petri dish, you know, the petri dish phenomenon, that we're a petri dish, da da da. But the resets, mud floods, the resonant things, the star cities, all
star
the
forts,
stuff,
star
star
forts.
forts, thousands of them all around the world. They've even found some in the Australian desert in the middle of nowhere. Now, these star forts were resonant holders. They know that through the cymatics with the sand on they use for musical sheets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the cymatics thing, yes.
Yes. These star forts were built so that earthquakes wouldn't affect them. It's my belief. Earthquakes and the atmosphere and all that wouldn't affect them so much. That's what I believe anyway, and many different things. And it's like that everywhere. They're all around the world. There's tens of thousands of these star forts. And it's like it's coming out, it's coming out, it's coming out. And when you go back and go, wow, if they did resets, that would really F people up. Because it only takes, you know, like 3 generations you can do it in. Sort of trying to prove it. How long would it take? How long would it take to do this? How can you rewrite the history books? And I think it would really scatter people to find out that only 4 generations ago or 5 generations ago, there was a complete reset in the country. Because you wouldn't do a worldwide one. You'd probably, in some cases, you could or would, or it might be a natural phenomenon with meteors or comets. But also it could be done, it would be done by country, because the communication wasn't there. You know what I mean? So they could do one 800 years ago in France, 600 years ago in Spain, 1,000 years ago in Russia, and you know, and you do all these things. And when you find out the truth in some of these countries of past that we see on the mud flood and reset material, whether it's from Russia or Britain or Australia, there's a, you know, it's incredible stuff.
And even the ancient ruins, where, you know, like when you look at them, whether in South America, Lebanon, you know, Baalbek, anywhere in the Middle East, Northern Africa, when you look at these ruins, they all have the same look, like they were hit by an explosion. You know,
Yes.
I mean, the fact that the earthquakes did this, there, I mean, and you know, once again, there's just the area looks exploded.
Mm.
And then a lot of the things we see aren't even you know, they've stood up some of the ruins, they put them together badly to give you an idea what it looked like. But I mean, what they do, and because they erected the pieces, but these places didn't fall into ruin. Somehow they were demolished. Because earthquakes do not explain this, I mean, like identical scattering and whatever. I mean, just it's, you just, again, if you operate with the narrative we're given in schools, you don't critically look at these things. You have to have somebody kind of say, why don't you, here's another narrative to play with. You don't have to accept it, but kind of you put it in there for a minute and now go over that same information with this other narrative and see if something, if all of a sudden the narrative looks a little weak.
Well, it helps explain the fear of dying as well. So they can use a thing like the plague or the virus they use at the moment. And the whole world. Yeah. See, we've had this in Christchurch already. We had the big quake, everything gets taken out, whatever. We had a few hundred die. We rebuild the city and everything else. But we got to watch the fear side of it.
Yeah.
Now, for me, and I've talked about it, I think the first time we ever talked on Zoom video years ago, and I talked about my earthquake experience in the now moment for 3 days. That's where I got pushed into. I'm always thankful for that earthquake. Most people aren't, because I got to experience the future. We're all going to live in that place of no mind for the good things in life. So I got pushed into that, and it's like, but you go through, I got to watch everybody after that earthquake, because you all thought you were going to die. So what did you do? What do you want in life? What don't you want in your life? So what we've gone through is the same thing. I don't want to equate something like that to that, but it's the best I can do experientially. That everybody around the world has gone through a life-death experience because of the coronavirus. Well, 98% of the world anyway has gone through the fear of death, a life-death experience. So when you have a life-death experience, they're not going to get the worldwide vaccination they wanted if there's a they involved. But they're not going to get that. But what they have got, and thank you very much, everybody gets to have an evaluation of their life. They don't have to die and get evaluated. They can do it while they're here. Mm-hmm. It's like, yes, I don't think I want to be married to this prick anymore. He's a dickhead. I'm going to get a divorce and go and have a happy life somewhere else. Or, I don't think I should drink anymore. I'm going to look at doing a program. You know what I mean? They're going to evaluate. Actually, my kids are more important. Fuck the job. I'll find something else. The evaluations happen. And after the earthquakes, we did this. Yeah, we did it. All of a sudden, it's like, that's important. That's not. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff anymore because I had some big stuff to sweat. So there's worldwide evaluation happens through this coronavirus. Thank you very much. Well done. What side are they on? Team dark or team light? I wonder. That's my little rant.
Well, to kind of almost take it back to, let's take Bill Gates of hell. A lot of the panic, that's out there is because he's touting it. It's like, this is just a billionaire asshole who gets press, and because he gets press, it seems like he's not a fucking policy maker. He's a billionaire asshole. And fortunately, we have a billionaire who a lot of people think is an asshole as our president. And he gets to make policy. And he's not impressed with it. And neither is his attorney general. So the whole thing is, just because the press gives these pricks, these psychopaths, airtime, to so they can be jerking off under the camera while they talk about these delicious vaccines. And of course, for some people, they hear that and they're going, when is it going to be there? When is it going to be there? And
they're allowed. It's important that they go back into this. Is old. This is the old playbook. This is the old yearbook in us. This is our old DNA reacting and being fearful, because we've been fucked up before. We've been wiped out before. We've had families wiped out, our own families and ourselves wiped out by these things. This is a spiral or a circle, time-wise, going on, that this time has not happened. So we're going to go through that. I went through that. I was going through all that, the fuck them, the fucking government. I was getting, and I was like, bring it back to yourself. Bring it back to yourself. And that's all we're doing at the moment. If you're mind-knowing, mystics, shamans and all that, or just a good human being, who knows to reflect and bring it back to themselves, they're just going to go, that's the old game. That's the old game. I'll find some more people to talk about the old game if I want to. There'll be plenty in the chat rooms. Or I can play the new game and just bring it back to myself and go, vaccine free.
Mhm.
Not hate vaccine, vaccine free world. We don't need the vaccines because we've got all the cures. They've always been in nature. Nature's our best friend. You get that thinking, that's the noosphere pumping up, but your feelings are going to be connected to the noosphere straight away because the noosphere is it's on our side.
Mhm.
You know, we're going to evolve. We're not going to evolve to a what do you call it when you do the arm twisting thing? You get a person, you go like that, and you try and arm
Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah, arm
We're
wrestling.
not going to go to arm wrestling or mind wrestling.
Mhm.
The mind wrestle is yourself. You bring it back to yourself and watch your mind wrestle. And then once you see wherever you sit with it, whether it's dirty and ugly or beautiful and pure, and you work with it and allow it, that's the noosphere tapping you on the shoulder. Hey, welcome. You've just influenced 5 people around you in your family. Welcome. Go to the pub, have a beer with your mates. Talk about this.
Yeah. And also, everybody should, I would like to counsel that do not be afraid of the nasty or even bad parts of ourselves, because the only way you could see those bad parts is looking from your good side. So when you're identifying those things, just realize you're in your good state. And so therefore you can so you kind of identify, and for me the shadow is like not something you have to extinguish. The shadow is something you have to realize has to be kept in its own little, not necessarily dungeon, in its own corner. And where you kind of you can actually turn to it and have a conversation, especially if you want to know what the Lights are thinking. You go to your dark side, go, what's on their mind. It knows because it's of the same vibration. um so I mean, like, the whole thing is to see bad in yourself means you have to have good, or you wouldn't be able to see the bad. So immediately that identifies your good side by even creating, there's like a part of you go like, I don't like that about me. Well, I can be really creepy there. Or even, and then if you go in one's past, I mean, if I go into my past, it's a horror show, of like things, even for the other person might go, oh, that bugs you. But because I've gotten very sensitized about how noble I really wish to be, then, I look back, even so, just moments of innobility, just moments of kind of just being a dick, not even cruel or just, a dick. Um, I'm like, ooh, that kind of hurts to remember. Oh, yeah. Oh, because, all of a sudden that skin comes on you. It's like, you know. Um, so, but nobility is to me, that's what I see in our royal blood connected American president, Donald Trump, is that the true meaning of nobility. You originally had this thing called noblesse oblige. Yeah, no, noblesse oblige. I got it backwards, which is there was an obligation from the nobles who had the wherewithal. It wasn't about money as much as about organization. Often also good gene pools where they were smarter. They, just because they pooled those good qualities. They were healthier. Sometimes they usually were bigger and stronger because they understood breeding matters. And in the old noble classes, you were breeding more for genetics than a name, because if you already had the noble stuff, you could actually look into the more humble classes and see some real gems in there. Go, something, you need, we're gonna keep, because you got good stuff, and we're looking for the good stuff. And this way here, we're not. There's no hoarding. There's an obligation to share knowledge, to share genes, and to try and generate some kind of natural order. So that's the original nobility, in the European sense, the aria, which really comes from, which means noble. It's really, and it's the nobility is about noble behavior, where you are obligated. If you have the goods, you must share. You know, but you don't. You do it wisely. Because you don't cast your pearls before people who might mistake them for stones. Um,
it's beautiful to watch the mind virus slowly and faster. A lot
And
of it will dissipate, and some of it, and a lot of it will transmute.
now, so I think, fortunately, in somebody who, has, like, especially Leo aspects in his chart, Donald Trump, um, and his known, like, love of the spotlight. But he's already, become a billionaire. Check. That's already checked off for him. So where does it become a scumbag or become a hero? Now, once again, just because somebody wants to be a hero doesn't necessarily mean that they have the goods to be a hero. But what if he does? And it's so I think this noble blood runs in him, like, in the normal, in a true sense of nobility. And and in other words, we nobles can thrive, but, like, there's something, like, it's like, how much do you need? Once again, he was satisfied with being a billionaire. He didn't need to be a trillionaire.
Did you watch that video I pointed out to you?
The one with the circle? No, not yet. I don't feel called to it. I feel different. I mean, so
really?
at some point, yeah, it just, the setting. First of all, the setting, like I said, it has an eerie setting. When I looked at it, it looked ominous.
I'm feeling to finish up here, Oddy. But I'd like to put the. I feel like we could go for another 2 hours. I feel like we could quite easily go for another 2 hours. And I've got.
What's It's your call. All right. Well, and I guess that's the end.
Yeah, I could do a week clearing.
You could do what?
Just a week clearing. Are we karakia? We prayer.
Oh, okay.
I've done it before.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Om Satchitananda Parama Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Samhita Shri Bhagavate Namaha Om Om